everybody. It's the Maurice Brown Show Sports Edition. Playing a little pitch and catch with my nephew, Caleb.
Hey, guys.
He's the next Jerry Rice. Want to show him?
Yeah,
Let's
do
go.
it.
You're going to love this. Ready, set, go! Let's start the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on bogradio.fm. Playing a little pitch and catch there with my nephew, actually, Caleb Lopez down in Port St. Lucie, Florida, and right now hanging out with my main man, Aaron, Too Tall Moore. What's up, Aaron?
What's going on, man?
Hey, man, I got an update on Caleb down there in Port St. Lucie. He's a freshman. He kicked a 50-yarder last week.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he told me he had been talking about his progress the last time I talked to him. So
yeah,
glad he's doing good, man.
And he's training with Fabricio Scaccia, who was the kicker for the 49ers in the 2012 Super Bowl, I think it was. So he's been, training Caleb, and I'm telling you, kicking 50 yards as a freshman. As a freshman, he's headed for 5-star status by the time he's a senior.
He is.
So,
and plus that guy taking time to work with him, he must see something in him.
Oh, yeah. Well, he said the funny story real quick. We'll get to the NFL pre-draft show real quick. The guy, Caleb's mother reached out to him, and he says, mothers reach out to me all the time saying their kid's the next, Garo, you premium. And he was like, okay, all right, let me see what this kid's got. And he saw him kick. He's like, oh, my goodness. He's a real deal. This kid right here, I'll invest in him. So, Caleb, he kicked 50 yards a couple of weeks ago. As you folks know, my nephew, who's on the show with us from time to time. Welcome to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show pre-draft show for the NFL. We got the draft coming up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's going to be at Lambeau Field at the end of April. So teams are right now just kind of scrambling, trying to figure out who they're going to sign as a free agent, trying to figure out who they're going to draft. A lot of things going on. Now, today, the Cincinnati Bengals locked up T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Question, did they forget they can't stop anybody on defense?
I think they're trying something different. And will it work? I don't think it will. We're going to see. Yeah. But I think they're putting all that money on their offense to outscore people. Saying, okay, we put our money in our offense, so if we have the ball last, we're going to win. We know we're going to win.
Do I need to hit the rewind button for this season? That don't work.
It looked like that's the way they're going because they really, really don't have nobody on defense. You saw how bad their defense was. They didn't really do anything in free agency. They trying to get rid of. It seems like they don't want to resign their DN. We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
I think he had 17, 18 sacks, probably more than that.
Well, what was it, Trey Hendrickson?
Yeah, Hendrickson.
He's the only person they got on defense that can
play. He had double digit. I think he had around 20, 21 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. And you don't want to resign this guy? Well, they putting all that money on. What they're trying to do, they're trying to please Joe Burrow. He wanted both of them guys back. They don't want him to leave, so they catered to him. Now Joe has no excuse. I don't want to hear nothing about no defense. I don't want to hear nothing about y'all couldn't stop nobody. If you got the ball last, y'all better score.
You better score.
You better score.
And I think if you really look at it, Joe Burrow, to me, when he's on, he's the best in the league.
Mm-hmm.
It's never a question about what Joe's going to do and what T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are going to help him. There's no question about it. I would hold that trio when they're on best in the NFL.
Yep.
Problem is
I agree with that.
they can't stop anybody on the other side, meaning they have to get the ball last. And that's crazy. We got a lot of time left. The Bengals have the draft coming up. Maybe they're going to go get their people in the draft. I don't know. They still have a chance to make some free agent signings. There's a lot of time between now and training camp. Okay. So there may be a method to Cincinnati's madness. You're right. Joe Burrow held him hostage. He was like, yo, I'm about to dip out the back door here if you don't get these guys. So he was playing with them. They said, okay, Joe, we got you. We're going to sign you boys. They may have a bigger plan in mind. So today, again, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, they got locked up. They got their money. They got their bags today in Cincinnati. So we'll see what happens next. Now, next up, my boys, Green Bay Packers. We just picked up cornerback Nate Hobbs from the Raiders. You know, we're about to lose Jair Alexander, arguably best cornerback in the league. Can't get right with the Packers. He's always injured, too. And apparently he's mad at Green Bay. I don't know what he's mad about, but we'll get Nate Hobbs. And Nate Hobbs says we could be legendary. Has he been watching too many Marvel movies? Hey, yo, Eric, what is he talking about?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not with a lot of players to talk even before the season starts. I mean, it seems to always come back and bite them in the backside. Just keep your mouth shut and just play ball. And then at the end of the season, if you in that legendary conversation, then you speak about it. But
hey, did you see Captain America: Brave New World?
No, I did not.
It's a good movie.
Okay.
I enjoyed the heck out of that film. There's only one problem. I didn't see Nate Hobbs. Okay, I didn't see Nate anywhere, dude. So, I matter of fact, and maybe you could help me out on this one. I've never heard of Nate Hobbs. Do you know anything about him, Aaron?
A decent corner. I wouldn't say he's your lockdown corner, but I mean he's a decent corner to have on your squad. Now I don't know where he's getting his confidence from about this legendary stuff, but we'll see. We'll see. The season hasn't started yet. Maybe, but just keep your mouth shut and play ball.
Just keep your mouth shut and play ball. I've seen the secondary. You know, I'm a Packer fan. I know our secondary. Jair was really the only dude for real, and he was out most of the year. The rest of those guys can't cover. I mean, I think. Oh my gosh, just a weak secondary, and we just gotta make sure that we can. But now Xavier McKinney from New York, he held up on his side of the bargain. I mean, he was picking quarterbacks off left and right. But our corners were pretty weak. Keyshawn Nixon was filling in for Jair. He looked pretty good. And then on the other side, you know, we had I forget the kid's name, number 21. He never really blossomed into the kind of corner we thought he was going to be. I think we brought him in from either Georgia or Alabama. And so now we get Nate Hobbs to take Jair's place. So it's going to be Keyshawn Nixon and Jair. I'm sorry. Nate playing opposite sides. Of course, we got Xavier McKinney back there. And I forget the safety's name, who's also pretty good. Got hurt a lot. Number 33, I don't know his name right off. I think we have the potential. If Nate Hobbs is half as good as Jair Alexander, we should be a decent secondary. But you know, that Marvel movie talk, I'm not like you said, shut your mouth, dude. All right, come on in, do your thing. We got Josh Jacobs from the Raiders, so we dip into the Raider pot again and get a cornerback. Maybe it'll turn out good for us. Speaking of the Raiders, Can a reunion of Pete Carroll and Geno Smith in Las Vegas ignite the Raiders, in your opinion?
I like that pickup. Uh, yeah, I always liked Geno Smith, even when he was with the Jets.
Okay.
Um, he had a couple down years when he first came in the league. But yeah, I mean they know each other. Pete Carroll knows him. He knows Pete Carroll. Geno, I mean he's a decent quarterback. You know, I mean he's not that top tier quarterback, but he in the middle of the pack, that middle of the pack quarterback that could get you some wins if you have. Now he gonna need some weapons around him. I would say he gonna need decent defense, and he gonna need some weapons on offense to help him out. But if he has that, I like it. I like the move.
I think one of the biggest problems the Raiders had, not just last year, but over the last 5 years, is they've never had a good quarterback. Now, Geno Smith was, written off before he went to Seattle. Pete Carroll found a way to get him going again.
Hmm.
And so now they're back together again with the Raiders. The Raiders are not a bad team. I think Geno Smith certainly is the best quarterback they've had in 5 years. I mean,
I would I would agree with that. Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. But they just signed the defensive end. What's the defensive end's name with the Raiders? He's up there with the top D ends in the league. I mean, he's like a great edge rusher. Uh,
Crosby.
is is it Bishop? I forget his name. But they
Uh,
just re-signed him, and he's a dog, heck of an edge rusher. I mean, he's up there with the Bosa brothers. I mean, he's a real problem, and they re-signed him, and so I think it's possible. And then Pete Carroll, he just has that Midas touch. I mean, comes in the Raiders organization. They have talent on that team for whatever reason. Um, my
yeah.
man
Max
Antonio
Max Max Crosby.
Max Crosby, that's it.
Yeah.
He's one of the top edge rushers in the NFL.
Hmm.
He's up there with Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, he's one of those dudes.
He is.
So they got him back, and the Raiders, like I said, Pete Carroll just has the ability he has this Midas touch ability to kind of get the Raiders going. I think Geno Smith, I think the Seahawks, number one, are crazy for letting DK Metcalf go, Tyler Lockett go, and Geno Smith. I don't know what they're doing over there. Um,
It
so
seems they kind of retooling. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, the Seahawks have actually are done a reset, and as I'm just going to go ahead. No, I'll get to that later, because well, actually, I thought Stu would be here. It would be great if he were here to answer this question. So since he's not, and we're on the subject of Seattle, I'll just jump right to it because they picked up Sam Darnold from Minnesota.
Hmm.
Did Sam Darnold just make the biggest mistake of his NFL career by going to Seattle?
No, I don't think so. I think Sam Donald knew what he was getting into going to Seattle. And number one thing, he knew he was a guy going there. I think he wanted to go somewhere where he wanted to be wanted, where they like you are a guy, you know, and you're not here to, you know, audition for a year and see who if you're the guy or not. You are a guy until we get draft a rookie or something, and they come behind you and watch or in something like that. But in my opinion, he wants to be the guy, and he wants the organization behind him. And I think I think that was one of the reasons why he made that move. And I'm sure they're gonna bring some more. Like it's so early in the season in the off season. They're gonna bring some weapons in there for him to make sure that he's successful. And another thing, I believe they're gonna run the ball down there. I think they're gonna take some pressure off Sam Donald, and 'cause I forgot the offensive coordinator's name out there, but I know he likes to start with the run and kind of let the run open up the pass. So I think they're gonna lean on that run a little bit, and then they're gonna get some weapons on the outside for him. And I think he's gonna be okay.
Sam Darnold reminds me of one of those cheesy dudes that's trying to pick up a chick. And, it opens up with one of these cheesy lines like, I was reading the book of Numbers last night and I didn't see your name in it.
But
hey, man, get out of here, man. That's the worst pickup line I've ever heard in my life.
Listen to this. The NFL is all about positioning. It's all about the right fit.
Yeah.
You can be a heck of a player, but end up in the wrong situation and your career be terrible. And you could be that guy who end up in the right situation, your career flourish. It's
Right.
so many. For instance, let's look at Bryce Young. Bryce Young, we thought Bryce Young was a bust, and then all of a sudden the coach gets fired. New interim coach comes in. Bryce Young looked like a whole different quarterback.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold gets thrown around here and there. Then he gets into Minnesota. He gets with a great offensive coordinator who changes him up. Look, he got Sam Darnold paid. So it's all about situations, in my opinion.
And I would agree with you. I think Bryce Young is still a growing, maturing quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Sam Darnold's been in the league long enough. Like, yo, dude, you stink. And so you end up in Minnesota and you throw out of nowhere. I mean, nobody saw 35 touchdowns and 14-0. I think they started out with, they didn't go 14-0, but they won 14 games.
Yeah.
In arguably the toughest division in football. And then the last two games, you showed everybody that you're still Sam Darnold. And so, but you played well enough. Get this, Aaron. Here's where I'm going with this. But you played well enough where Minnesota would have had you come back. They would have paid you maybe 15 mil, maybe 20. And you would have had an opportunity to compete with JJ for the starting position. Well, whether you win or lose, you had a good year. You got a little extra change. I mean, look, you pick up $15-20 million. Hey, man, job well done.
I just don't think he wanted them voices in the back of his head, and in the back, not necessarily in his head, but in the back. You come out, he could start out 3-0, 4-0. Then all of a sudden, he had 2 bad games. I think we need to see McCarthy. You're like, God damn, I only had 2 bad. let me continue to play. I don't think he wanted that.
He probably had multiple voices going in the back of his head, and one of them he should have listened to. And one of those voices was saying, "Yo, Sam, take that money, man. Chill. Go to French Riviera, yo.
I mean, what
relax. You good, dude."
What was his contract in Seattle?
Well, he got $30 million.
Oh, hey.
But it's $30 million.
He got a 3-year deal for $105 million.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he got a 3-year deal for, like you said, 100, and so So long story short,
that's a
he's
heck
going
of a
to take
payday,
that money. Yeah. He's going to go to Seattle. They were barely a playoff team with Geno, DK, and Tyler Lockett. They're gone. So now you don't have any receivers. Line's not that good. You're in a reset mode, and now everyone's expecting you to do what you did in Minnesota when you had everything at your disposal. Dude, he may not even make it through the season healthy. He may be laid up, like I said about Josh Allen. He may be laid up with both arms broken. And that's not a good way to spend $30 million. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I just don't see Sam Darnold faring well in Seattle. and he could have been healthy, man, sitting over there chilling and telling JJ, man, you need me, I'm over here, and make your money, and I'm good over here, man, because I know what I'm gonna do when this season's over. I know what me and wifey gonna do. Anyway, that being said, let's since Stu's not here, we're gonna talk about it anyway, and we'll probably talk about it with more clarity because Stu, as a matter of fact, I don't even think Stu's got any confidence in his 49ers anyway. But my question is related to the 49ers, and that is they just picked up Mac Jones. Would he be a better option in Frisco over Brock Purdy?
I wouldn't say he'd be a better option, but I would say he's a safety blanket because I don't think they're gonna pay Brock Purdy what he wants,
Okay.
and that's just my opinion. And they may, but I don't think they're gonna pay him market value, whatever he's asking for, and frankly, he's not worth that. He's not
You mean
worth what he's
Purdy?
asking. Yeah, Purdy.
Yeah.
So now should Mac Jones is a better option? Nah, he's not a better option. I mean, Brock Purdy took him to the Super Bowl, been to the NFC Championship twice. I mean, they won with Brock Purdy. I mean, you can't deny that. I mean, they had the weapons around them to support Brock Purdy, in my opinion. But no, he's not. He's not a better option. But then again, Kyle Shanahan is an offensive guru. Mac Jones might come in and look just like Purdy. I mean,
Well,
you don't know, but a better option right now, I would say no.
they just signed Mac Jones to a 2-year, $7 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's about right for a guy like Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
They have not given Purdy a contract yet. And I'm going, what are the 49ers waiting for? What is the confusion about how much they want to give this guy? All right. I mean, he did not to me show he was able with the ship starting to sink, that he was able on his own abilities to kind of get that ship up and sailing the way they wanted it to sail.
Do you
And
do
he
you
wasn't able to do it.
do you think Purdy is worth $190 million?
No, no. To me, Purdy's worth about 20, 30 mil.
I would say 30 because I mean, if you go by market value, that's probably what it's going to be, and I think he's asking for around 45 million.
So do you think he played as well as Sam Darnold? Or do you think he's worth what Sam Darnold got in Seattle?
I would say the Sam Donald contract, yes, because that's not really hurting the Seattle Seahawks. If you could structure it in a way where you could give him that and he get most of it, probably because they still got to fill out their roster. They lost a lot of weapons, so if you could keep Purdy in around that 30 million area, I think that'd be good. But from what I heard he's asking for the around 45 million, and I wouldn't, I couldn't do that.
Well, I would just say, look, I would tell his agent, look, you guys are that's not going to happen now. You want I can hit you with the franchise tag and make you play
That's
another
what I'm
year.
saying. So what I would do if I was a 49ers, I'd be like, all right, you want that money? We're gonna put you on a prove it year.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna put you on a prove it year because you got to prove to us that you can carry this team. Because that's a carry contract. When you give quarterbacks that money, that means you could carry the team.
And he has not proven that
He
he
has
can do
not
it.
proven that he could do that.
No,
So
no, he's not.
yeah,
He, he's a good quarterback. He's a decent quarterback to good. Okay, no question about it. And he can get you there. He's been to the promised land, but he had weapons around him. So when those
right.
weapons are not there, he's not shown the ability to continue to ball out. I'll
No,
be totally honest with you. I think Mac Jones, and I'm not a Mac Jones fan by any stretch of the imagination. However, given what the 49ers have, I like Mac Jones out there pitching it more than I like Brock Purdy, simply because Brock Purdy is a guy that doesn't have the mobility when things break down. Like, he's not going to be able to get away from pressure. He's certainly not going to be able to get to the stick if he has to. Whereas I think Mac Jones could do that better than Brock. And I also think that he can deliver the ball. But that being said, it's just a question for debate. The 49ers clearly are trying to figure out how they want to go about paying this man. And I think 45 is too much.
that's
It's just too much money. I'd
yeah.
give him 30. I
I,
I give him 30
yeah.
because he has shown the ability to keep the ship sailing. But 45, utterly ridiculous. Now, you talk you talk about money. Saquon Barkley got paid, and he represented the running backs in the NFL who have kind of been getting pushed to the side in favor of quarterbacks. Will the signing of Saquon get other quality running backs in the NFL paid?
Yeah, if they produce, um, to me, if Barkley not on that team this year, they don't make it to the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Oh
Um,
no, they don't make
yeah,
it.
he was so dynamic and proven. If you got a running back like him, he could take a lot of pressure off your quarterback, which he did. Because in the previous years they ran Hurts a lot, and that was a big conversation within the media about why you keep running Hurts this much. Like, and it was like, that's our offense. We need him to run. And I think he took a lot of pressure off Hurts, and he took a lot of pressure. They just had so many weapons. It was no, and then his dynamic and the way he does. He's a complete back. He pass blocks. He runs. I mean, he could catch out the backfield. He catch deep balls. So he does so much. I think he does. I think a lot of coaches are going to start looking for them premier backs like that and saying, okay, I don't need this top tier quarterback. If I can get a decent quarterback that don't turn the ball over, that don't make mistakes, I could lean on him, and then we could run our offense that way. So I would say, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to get a lot of other running backs paid. I mean, he was the difference maker for the Eagles. There's no question about that.
Mhm.
And Jalen Hurts will probably be the first one to tell you that he made my job a lot easier. Um,
100%.
we'll switch gears and look at Aaron Rodgers. We were talking about Aaron Rodgers a little bit earlier, how he's kind of playing games again, and got the Steelers kind of waiting around, got the Giants even waiting around. Now he's talking about the Vikings. And last time I heard anything about it, there was a photo on Twitter where Aaron was at the beach, you know, and I think he probably just come out of one of those tents doing that ayahuasca stuff. He's probably high as a dadgum kite. Anyway, uh, here's my here's my question for you: will Aaron Rodgers try to do a Brett Favre and stick it to Green Bay and sign with Minnesota? And if he did that, would the Vikings be a team poised to go all the way?
Truthfully, I don't. Nobody know what Aaron Rodgers thinking. I think I don't know what he's waiting for, but I do personally believe Minnesota and the Steelers are his best choice.
Yeah,
Um, I think he will enjoy playing the Steelers. I think I think that would be a more incentive for him to go to Minnesota. But like, I get to play my old team and give it to him. Uh, so and plus, I mean, they got weapons around them, and and what about McCarthy? So you got McCarthy sitting there what would that do to him if you allow him to sit and just watch Aaron work for a year or a year or two? He might play. He might come back another year. I don't a year or two and just
Yeah.
watch one of the greats.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that will hurt him. Um, so I would say I would say they will be one of them teams in the Super Bowl conversation if he goes to the Vikings.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah,
Now
and
I've been saying that he's going to go to Frisco. And notice they haven't signed Purdy yet. And no
Well,
one's mentioned.
I mean, yeah, they don't need to. They don't need to sign Purdy. I mean, it
Yeah.
would be nice for him to sign, but I mean, they don't need to sign him. I mean, he could now what that I think if they do if Brent, this is why, because I don't think he's going to San Fran, because if they do, if he goes to San Fran, I don't think Purdy gonna want to be there no more.
Yeah. True.
So
He'll definitely run
yeah.
Purdy off. If Aaron ended up in Frisco, Purdy would be out. He'd chucked it like, yo, I'm out, man. So no, I agree with you. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. But I just think in the back of Aaron's mind, he's always hated the fact that the 49ers snubbed him in the draft.
Yeah.
And I don't think he ever got over that. He grew up rooting for Joe Montana and the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up in the Bay Area. And by the way, if you look at his stats against Frisco, it's not too good. He's never played well as a Packer versus the 49ers. So that's just one of the scenarios that I have, because no one's mentioned that one. But at the end of the day, I think he wants to stick it to Green Bay like Brett Favre did.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way for him to do that is go to the Vikings.
Apparently, Brent Favre made that suggestion to him on a radio show.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, saying that he should go to Minnesota and then play. Now, would you think Brent Favre said that because Brent Favre took them to the NFC Championship game when he went?
He was one play away from the Super Bowl.
One play away from the Super Bowl. So if Aaron Rodgers goes to Minnesota, will he have to make it to the NFC Championship game at least?
Well, I would say so. I would say he would have to at least get to the NFC Championship. If you look at how well the Vikings played last year with Sam Darnold, and we found out Sam Darnold's still Sam Darnold. I mean, Kevin O'Connell should be given Coach of the Year just for getting Darnold to play as well as he did. But you got Aaron Rodgers now. You don't have to really manage him and say, hey, look, if Justin's open, throw it to him. If Jordan does a little dig here, throw it to Jordan. No. Aaron's got this.
Yeah.
So Kevin O'Connell can just kind of do one of these numbers and say, Aaron, look, we're going to run this play. Do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And because Kevin O'Connell is a great play caller. And he and Aaron are about the same age. O'Connell was a backup in New England behind Brady, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of get each other. And I think that at the end of the day, Rodgers would love to stick it to Green Bay. Mm-hmm. And that's why he's waiting. I mean, the Steelers keep just going, hey, yo,
yeah.
Aaron, we kind of wait. We got business to take care of, but we need to hear from you. And you're not going to go to the Giants. No one in their right mind is going to go to the Giants. So that's their name's just out there, okay? They're going to have to deal with the pizza delivery guy to beat him. Because Aaron not going to the Giants. So we'll see what happens. It's Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers again. He's just playing with everybody. And then he'll make a decision, right when you think he's not going to do anything. He'll show up in Viking training camp like Brett Favre. So we'll switch gears. We were talking about Sam Darnold. We talked about Sam Darnold already. Let's go to DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence is now a Seattle Seahawk, and he's probably saying what most players in the Cowboy locker room believe. He said as soon as he got into Seattle, he said, I know I was never going to win a Super Bowl there, which started this war of words on Twitter between him and Micah Parsons. But the question is, do you believe that's a belief in the Cowboy locker room that they're never going to win a Super Bowl?
Yes, I think some players do feel that way as long as Jerry Jones has that team. Cause I mean, think about it. It's a lot of players. If you listen to a lot of players, they say it was a circus.
Right.
Like practice was like showtime. Like you had people coming in and all this, and people watching practice and signing all of. Like Jerry Jones had it like an amusement park, and you can't win like that.
No.
So and you know one thing Stephen A said, this is the biggest indictment right here. DeMarcus Lawrence, and when he said this, I started laughing because it was so true. DeMarcus Lawrence went to the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
And he said I could never win a Super Bowl in Dallas.
Yeah.
So he got more belief that he could win a Super Bowl in Seattle than he do in Dallas.
Yeah.
That should be a big indictment on the Cowboys. It's not like he went to San Fran, or he went to the Eagles, or he went to the Commanders, or some other team, some team that was close of getting to the Super Bowl. He's in Seattle, and we just talk about Seattle's kind of like retooling.
But you know what? You're right. It is an indictment on the Dallas Cowboys. Because if you really think about it, Seattle had a better year than Dallas.
Mm.
Seattle was in the playoff conversation like they were legitimate playoff conversation pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cowboys were clowns. They never had a realistic shot at getting to the playoffs.
Mm-mm.
They were done by week 9. They were already, they were done. So to DeMarcus Lawrence's point, yeah, he got a better chance of going to Super Bowl in Seattle than that's just the reality, dude. And it is a clown show in Dallas with Jerry Jones.
Mm.
Now they don't even have Cooper Rush. I think Cooper Rush, the backup to Dak Prescott, is now a backup in Baltimore. Good job, Cooper. Good job. You're much better off in Baltimore, dude. Get the heck up out of Big. So yeah, I think that DeMarcus Lawrence is simply saying what many people in that Cowboy locker room believe. This is a clown show.
Yep.
And Micah Parsons believes that probably more than anybody.
Well, Michael Parsons think that I don't know I don't know if he's just saying this just to say it, or he's trying to think about his career. He's trying to stay in the light.
He's trying to get paid. He's
trying to get paid.
He's trying to get Jerry to give him his money. That's all he's thinking about.
Because him saying we Super Bowl contenders, we're going to the Super Bowl. Now you got to be on something. Like you really can't believe the stuff that you're saying.
No, he's trying to get those Benjamins, Aaron. I'm telling you. That's the only thing that Mike is trying to do. He knows. Listen, let me tell you something. Jerry Jones is going to give him a lot of money. First up was Dak. I think they got Dak his bag. They got what's my man's name? The wide receiver for Dallas.
Lamb.
They got his bag. What's the guy's kid's name?
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb got his money.
Mm-hmm.
And Micah was next. Matter of fact, I think it came down to they were saying they had to get Micah signed. I think the DeMarcus Lawrence was even mentioned, so they just shipped him out. Micah knows he's getting ready to get paid, so he's going to play nice for now.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets a great big bag, he's not even going to care. You know what I mean? So that's what Micah doesn't believe in this team.
Do you think they should trade Parsons?
Well, I wouldn't. I mean, he's the best defender you got on the team. I mean, what are you going to get from Micah Parsons? Now, if you can get some pieces in there for him, yeah, I mean, it would make sense. But I mean, if I'm the Cowboys, I would try to get Micah Parsons some help, you know. And but I'm going to say this. I've said it a ton of times. The Dallas Cowboys have the same problem that the Commanders used to have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an owner that you can't fire. You can't fire the owner. But the reason your franchise sucks is because of the owner. So the moment that Daniel Snyder got himself in trouble and he was removed by his fellow owners in the league, look at the Commanders now.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Commanders now. One of the best teams in the NFL with a shot to go to the Super Bowl. Should have gone this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Dallas Cowboys are. They are what the Commanders were. If you look at all the talent that the Cowboys have right now, no excuse. There's no excuse that the Cowboys suck the way that there's no excuse.
I will say this about Jerry and his team. They do draft well, though.
They draft very well.
They do draft well. It's just when they get everybody on the field together, it just falls apart.
Again, because of the owner. You know, the guy that's driving the ship, that's why everything falls apart. You've got all this talent. Like you said, they draft very well. Don't know what to do with the talent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're frustrating the talent. You got a guy like Dak Prescott. I'm going to say this one last thing because I'm not a Cowboy fan and I'm enjoying every moment of their misery. But you look at a guy like, oh my God, you look at a guy like Dak, I'm probably being too mean. You look at a guy like Dak Prescott, okay? This guy is probably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And he's never, from what I can see, going to get to a Super Bowl.
Not there, no.
And if you look at Dallas, they look like they're going in the wrong direction, like they're getting worse every year. You know, they're getting worse every year. So I feel sorry for Dak. You put him in a better situation. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL.
And you know, I think this is what Jerry doing. I think he hired Schottenheimer. Like, it doesn't make sense to hire Schottenheimer.
No, it makes no. He's nothing but a pawn.
So he's a pawn to get Dion there next year. I think
Dion's not going to Dallas, Aaron.
I think Jerry's going to try to get Dion to come to Dallas.
Dion got too much. Dion's too smart.
I think he is.
Nah, man, Dion's too smart. He's not doing that. He's not doing that.
He already had some conversations with Dion, though. They talked about it.
They did a lot of talking about it. They talked a whole lot about it, and Dion is like, I'm not doing that. Now, he may have said all the right things to Jerry to make him feel good, but in the back of his mind and in private conversations, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to that train wreck. That's a train wreck over there. And so, I don't know. You may be right. We'll see what happens. As we see all of that, we mentioned the Commanders. Are they the biggest threat to the Eagles in the NFC?
I say yes.
Okay.
I would say one of them. Because there's a couple. I think Detroit's still there. I think Green Bay could get there if they just add a couple more pieces. So it's a few teams. So yeah, but I think since we know them so well, I think we are. Because I mean, we play them twice a year. We played them 3 times last year. So, and the way we're tooling up this year, I think the way it looked like that the guys we're bringing in, it looks like we are bringing guys in to beat the Eagles. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It looks like, that's what it looks like. It's like I think it look like Dan Quinn and AP look like we need to get past these guys. So how can we get past these guys? If we get past the Eagles, then we're going to the Super Bowl.
So we took a look, and now we got the draft coming up, and in about 3-4 weeks in Green Bay, Wisconsin, at Lambeau Field, and people are trying to kind of figure out, because if you look at the Chiefs and the 49ers, I think these are two teams that are no longer the scariest in the NFL anymore. I think the Eagles made that very clear with their convincing win over the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're looking at the draft. Like I said, we got some NFL signings coming up, and people trying to get themselves in position to make a Super Bowl run. Last week we took a look at the the AFC South, and we also looked at the AFC North. This week I want to take a look at the AFC West, and you look at the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Broncos. In your mind, which one of these teams is maybe a draft pick away and maybe a free agent signing away from getting to the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Um, I think the Chargers are closer to overcoming the Chiefs in that division. With
Okay.
Harbaugh, I think, especially with Harbaugh as the head coach,
Yeah.
um, I think he's gonna retool that team. I think he's gonna get a couple more weapons on that offensive side of the ball. But I think they are in the division to get there. But if you look at it, I think the Broncos are catching up too. So I think the Chargers and the Broncos are catching up to the Chiefs. The way they're retooling their team. But I
Yeah.
think the Broncos are a little bit more far away. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
I would agree with that. I think the Chargers are probably a strong draft pick or two,
Hmm.
and maybe a free agent pickup away from actually dethroning the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs showed that they have more problems than we realized. I think that they can't protect Patrick. They just simply can't protect him.
Hmm.
And when you're talking about the Chargers, maybe get some defenders. I mean, heck, the Chiefs better be looking at some linemen. If
Yeah,
they can
100%.
if they can get some linemen, some dogs up there to protect, and they might have to go to the draft. I think the Chiefs actually lost one of their people to a free agent signing to the Bears. Did they not? I think they lost one of their people to Chicago as a free agent. I think they had an All-Pro center that the Chiefs had that signed with the Bears. I'm like, you guys can't afford to lose anybody.
No.
So I would agree with you, though. I think the Chargers are probably, a draft pick away or two from making a run at the Super Bowl and dethroning the Chiefs. You look at the AFC East, we got the Bills, the Jets, the Patriots, and the Dolphins. Which one of these teams could be a draft pick away and a free agent signing away from making a run?
I'm gonna go with the Bills. I think the
Yeah,
Bills are right there.
yeah.
I think the Jets are retooling. Patriots are retooling. Dolphins are there, but I just don't believe in that coach. I don't believe in him.
Yeah.
He's a great offensive coordinator, but as a head coach, I just don't see it. And is Tua gonna be healthy? I don't know. So I'm gonna go with the Bills on that one.
Yeah, you got to go with Buffalo. You look at the Dolphins, and they reflect their coach's mentality. He's soft, he's smart, but he doesn't give you that back alley brawl type of aura. Like you
Mm-mm.
don't feel like this is the guy that could lead me into a brawl.
Nah.
He doesn't give that and that's why the Dolphins are soft. They've got a
That's what
lot
I
of
say.
talent.
He look a little soft.
He look a little soft. And the Dolphins have a lot of talent on that team. But this guy doesn't give you
Yeah,
the
he
you
look.
know the confidence of going into a dogfight.
Nah, he don't. He's
And
not a
so
guy I would want to go in the alley with.
no, 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 no. You don't want to go to a back alley with that dude. No, man, no, no, no. So I
Nah.
think Buffalo, yeah, they are one draft pick away,
Mhm.
or even a free agent signing away from dethroning the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think there's any question about that. Buffalo is right where they want to be, where they need to be, and they're also going to have to share that spotlight with Baltimore. But the Bills are right where they need to be. Now, if we go to the NFC real quick, the draft needs in the NFC, we look at Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit. Which one of these teams would benefit from a good draft?
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Bears.
Okay.
I think the Bears are there, man. Even I think if they can protect um, Crybaby, I forgot his name.
Oh, Caleb Williams.
I call him Crybaby.
Yeah.
If they could protect him, I think because the Vikings right now don't have a quarterback. I would say the Lions, but the Lions are already stacked in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, what draft pick are they gonna add to really boost them in because they already set. Um, the Packers the same way. I think they are the Packers have they just need to stop making mistakes in crucial situations in these playoff games.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have everything they need. They just can't make these crucial mistakes in these playoff games. That's to me, they have everything they need. But if the question is retooling and a draft pick away, I'm gonna say the Bears are a couple draft picks away to get to that next tier in the playoffs, fighting to get to that NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Ben Armstrong coming over from Detroit immediately started focusing on their line. Like you
Hmm.
said, they got to protect Crybaby. They got to protect Crybaby. And so what do they do? Like I said, they just picked up the Chiefs 5-time All-Pro center or guard, I forget which. And if they go in, and then he started focusing on, talk out of Chicago is he's going to be going for linemen in the draft. And that's where you gotta look at it. I mean, they've got DJ Moore, they've got a decent running game, they've got decent receivers. They've got Caleb Williams. Give him time. I think he can do some things. He's spent most of the year running for his life and crying.
On the ground. Spent most of his crack on the ground.
Yeah, on the ground. Spent most of the season on the ground. He didn't even get a chance to run very much. He was on the ground. So, yeah, I mean, if they can get, some protection,
Hmm.
Bears may be a problem.
It may be
And
okay. Yep.
yeah, they may be okay. And then you start looking at the NFC North and you start going, oh man, that this may be indeed the toughest division in football. It was looking like the Bears were maybe trending in the right direction before that debacle in DC when that Hail Mary that JD5 threw up. Their season went
Downhill.
into
Yeah.
the tank after that. They were done. They didn't have anything after that.
Mhm.
Doing all that trash talk. That's one thing you don't do with DC fans. You do not trash talk with DC fans. They ready to go all. They'll joan with you all day. Don't get caught up in that. And that's exactly what happened to my man. So anyway, I agree with you. I think the Bears stand to gain more than anyone from a good draft in the NFC North. There's no question about that. We are going to pull in and stop it right there and come back and look at the rest of the NFC draft needs next week and more NFL headlines as we get closer to the draft coming up in late April. Next week, hopefully, we'll have Stu here and also Fabricio Scaccia, who is the ex-kicker for the 49ers. He kicked for them in the 2012 Super Bowl against the Ravens. Should be on our show next week as well, and we'll just take a look at some other things. Also, if you've enjoyed the show and you liked it, subscribe, and to the Maurice Brown Comedy Channel, like it and subscribe. And also, you can catch this show if you're coming in on the tail end on Spotify, where all major podcasts are heard. You can hear the Maurice Brown Comedy Show NFL edition. Also, folks, want to let you know, I lost my mother about a month ago. 91 years old, beautiful lady. Did not see this happening. And that I'm in North Carolina now, just taking care of some things. My brother and I will be back in the Austin, Texas area, probably in another month or so. Got a lot of things to do, but Maureen Brown was her name, and she was the kind of lady. One thing I loved about my mom is she was always brutally honest about everything, you know. And I actually won an award for, well, not even win an award. I got nominated for best, most inspirational short film at the International Christian Film Festival coming up May 3rd in Orlando, Florida. And the film is called Unknown Kingdom. And I don't know if I ever got a chance to mention that to you or not. Here's a scene where my wife and I from that film were in. It's called Unknown Kingdom, and it talks about spiritual warfare, because there's another world out there that we don't see.
Correct.
That's happening all around us. And the film kind of focuses on that other world we don't see, where there are angels and demons out there fighting for our souls. And because of the death of Jesus Christ, if we do our due diligence as followers of Christ and pray and read our Bibles and do the things we need to do, we will win in that unknown world, that unseen world, and we're protected. But anyway, my brother, myself, and my cousin, my mother was not able to interact, but she was there, and and I was listening to. I got the call that I had been nominated, and I said, "Yeah, I got nominated." I said, "Ma, I got nominated," and my brother said, "Hey, Ma, hey, he got nominated and everything." And I went over to her, said, "I did it, Ma, I did it." And she turned over and she grunted, right? And then so my cousin said, "What'd she say?" She said, "Shut up." Because my mom, she's never really been a big fan of my entertainment career. She thinks something else, which is, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, I love my mom, and that's is just kind of where she was with it. But yeah, man, I just wanted to just give her a big time shout out. She was just a great person, and that's a picture of her. She was a beautiful lady, and she left us on February the 21st, 2025. My brother and I, thank God, were there with her. And so with that, I'm